In the spirit of Mario's 40th anniversary, Nintendo decided to re-release Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 as a $70 combo pack Switch 1 game. A reminder that those are both Wii games and they're simply just emulating them on the Switch. They didn't really get any makeovers. They also announced Mario Tennis Fever, a $70 tennis game that seems to be worse than Aces in almost every way, including the reuse of the assets of that title. They also decided to unveil a Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, a 2D Mario platformer that's more geared towards single player, but the new Switch 2 edition basically just adds a multiplayer mode and slaps an $80 price tag on there. Then obviously there's a movie coming and another Yoshi game. I think calling it underwhelming is underselling it. But if underwhelming is the theme that Nintendo has been going for with the 40th anniversary of Mario, well then their March 10 Day, or Mario Day sale, seems to perfectly fit the theme. Right now, I'm looking for the crowd that likes to always point out that people complain about Nintendo's games not going down in price. The ones that every time a discount pops up, they like to do the whole thing where it's like a small letter and then a capital letter back and forth, saying something along the lines of, "I thought Nintendo's games never go down in price." Yeah, to that crowd, if these discounts are the sword that you're using to fight against us, ooh, that sword is gonna shatter pretty quickly. Nintendo is generously offering discounts for Mario Day. The sale ends on March 15th. The discounts, for once, actually include a Switch 2 game. Except, not really. So what happened is they decided to discount Super Mario Party Jamboree for the Nintendo Switch 1. And I really hate when they do this. They took it from $59.99 to $41.99. Like, why are they adamant that it has to be a 30% discount? Just take it to 40 bucks. Anyway, so they gave like an $18 discount on the Switch 1 Super Mario Party Jamboree, primarily because it's like the most recent Mario Party game, and it's been doing pretty well on the Switch 2 anyway, so I guess it's just part of the festivities here, they decided to discount it. But since they discounted the Switch 1 game, it made no sense to not also discount the Switch 2 game, and effectively that same $18 that you would save if you decide to buy Super Mario Jamboree on the Switch 1, you can save the same $18 by just buying the Switch 2 edition with Jamboree TV. So they didn't even give it the same discount. Like, it's not getting a 30% off, it's only getting a 22% off if you're buying the Switch 2 version, which is insane because even with that $18 off, you're still paying more for it than what you would have been if you just bought the game brand new when it first came out. How Nintendo could look anybody in the eye and sell them a Mario Party Jamboree game for $62 and call it a discount no less is just wild to me. Aside from that, you have the Luigi's Mansion 3 multiplayer pack set. So technically this is just a combination of two different discounts that are already existing separately. You don't have to buy the whole thing together, this just combines the two deals. Luigi's Mansion 3 is moving for $40, which I'm almost tempted to say is a decent price, but I mean the game came out in 2019. $40 for a fairly early last-gen title just seems absurd by this point in time. And I don't know about anybody else, but like for modern games especially, when it crosses that $30 threshold, that's when I really start thinking about it. Like, I think when Odyssey was on sale for 30 bucks a few weeks ago, like on one hand, I'm like, Odyssey should be a lot cheaper by now because it's like an 8 or 9 year old game. But when a game of that caliber goes down to $30, all of a sudden it's like, if you really don't own the game yet and you have to buy it from Nintendo and you don't want to buy used, maybe go for it. But for me, 40 bucks for an old game still feels like it's a little bit too steep. Then I should clarify, I still don't think that Odyssey should be sold for $30 by this point in time. It should be like a Nintendo Select at 20 bucks. But there's just something psychological about like the $30 mark versus the $40 mark. And honestly, I think it's just because it's 50% off, so it seems like they actually dropped it down quite a bit. Which actually goes against this sale altogether because the lowest they all go down to is like $40. Most of them are like $42 even, as far as first party games go. Like Super Mario RPG, the remake of the original from the SNES, came out in 2023. It's still being sold at $42. Again, this is a last gen game. By this point in time, it's like 2.5, almost 3 years old. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is the fact that it's 60 bucks and now it's on a discount. And it's still not even at 40, it's at 42 bucks. Like, why are we even having this discussion, man? Like, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD should have launched at 20 bucks maximum. Bowser's Fury, again, like Odyssey, if this one was sitting at 30 bucks, even though it's a Wii U title, I'd still be like, fine. Reluctantly, I would accept it as a 50% off. But that $40 price tag, it just bugs me. At least in this case, it's actually 40 bucks though, and not $42, so credit to Nintendo there. Now, this one bugs me a lot right here. Okay, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, this is a $50 game. It's also a remake of a previous title, but we're just gonna take it as it is. It's a $50 Switch 1 game. Every other game on this list got like 30% off or 33% off. So they effectively dropped them down to 40 bucks. This game, since it's a $50 game, only got 20% off. So it just goes down to $40. Like if there was one game you could have dropped down to like that $30 value, it at least could have been this one. But no, they figure every other game is going for $40. You might as well discount this one down to $40 even though the starting price is lower. Obviously, it's the same idea with Super Mario Maker 2. And then, of course, now you have Sega. It's like, hey, might as well take advantage of the fact that Mario's on this game. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, $30. So this is especially funny to me because I saw some people commenting and laughing at this online. They're like, oh, Sega's crazy that they're charging $30 for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. They're like, it should be discounted way more by now. And I think it just kind of shows you how conditioned Nintendo fans are to believe that first-party titles are worth more. Like the way that they are reacting to Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which is technically a Mario Party game from 2019. And mind you, it actually had one of the most enjoyable single-player experiences from all of these titles, even if it ended a little bit quicker. But I mean, the single-player adventure in Mario and Sonic in the Olympic Games, because of all the retro stuff that it had with Mario characters and with Sonic characters, was more fun as a single-player experience than any other Mario spin-off that I've played in the Switch 1 generation. More than Aces, Super Mario Party Jamboree. But still, like, this game came out in 2019. It's a Mario spin-off title, even if it's Mario and Sonic. But because it's licensed by Sega, people are scoffing at the fact that they would charge so high for it. Nintendo fans that react to this $30 price tag and think that it's way too high for a discounted game that was out in 2019, that's how you should be reacting to Luigi's Mansion, Super Mario Maker, and quite frankly, every other game on this list. It just shows how well-conditioned Nintendo buyers have become, that they don't even see the irony in their reactions. But see, now this is something that would make a lot of sense. This is something that you would see on other platforms outside of the Nintendo world. The Mario and Rabbids games are on an insane discount. Now granted, they're Ubisoft games, and that's the only reason why they have that discount, because obviously if this was a Nintendo title, it would not be dropped down that low. But like the Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope Gold Edition, so it's not even like the base game, 90% off. Those are the kind of sales that people are asking for when they're like, how come Nintendo games don't get discounts? These are the discounts that these old titles should be getting. And Sparks of Hope came out in 2022. It's not even as old as the other games that are on this list. That is $9 for the entire game plus the DLC. The game by itself is $6 and the DLC is like $3.74. Well done, Ubisoft. A rare W for you guys. But yeah, that's their whole deal. You know what's not being discounted for Mario Day? Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Party Superstars, Super Mario Party, Mario Tennis, Mario Strikers, Mario Golf, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Paper Mario, both Paper Marios actually, Mario and Luigi, and even Mario Kart World. Like, at the very least, if you decide to make a Mario-themed discount for Mario Day, and they're not going to be good discounts, include the entirety of the Mario library. You already have Mario Kart World as a bundled game anyway. Why don't you give the people a chance that missed the Mario Kart World bundle to buy the game standalone? If you don't want to do it for $50, charge $60 for it, your $80 title. Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 as a combo pack was being sold for $70. But let's say you already had 3D All-Stars, and then Galaxy 2 comes out, and it's like at $40, and that seems like it's steep. You know, make them $35 a piece, where you don't have to buy them together to get the discount. Maybe somebody only wants one of the games. You know, give them a chance to save $5. Honestly, it should be more than that, but this is how low the bar is for first-party Nintendo titles. To give them just a little bit of credit, at least they are actually offering these as physical discounts as well. You don't have to buy them digitally to get the deals, but at this point in time, especially for the older games, you're probably better off finding them used online or even in Facebook Market and saving an additional $10 to $20. Like the other day, my friend got a Switch OLED with like 2 Mario games, I don't remember which ones they were, for $150, and it was still in really good condition. Somebody just getting rid of it on Facebook Market. Because the reality is, it's a last-gen console. This is like when the prices are supposed to go down, and you're supposed to be giving them away. And in every other Nintendo console generation, by this point, you would start seeing some crazy good discounts for the last-gen stuff. Think of the 2DS like for $100. Where's the $100 Switch Lite with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundled in? Where's the lineup of the last-gen Nintendo Selects that are available for $20 a piece? Oh right, you can't do that because this is just a Switch Pro. The last-gen games and the last-gen library is equally as important as the current Switch 2 stuff. And seeing as how much they're struggling to actually move those Switch 2 games, they probably really need to rely on these Switch 1 games to do well. Or, you know, alternatively, they could just make some good first-party games in-house. But I guess that's a bit more effort than they're willing to put in. The funny thing is just how their whole marketing thing is done on their website right now. For like the Mario Nintendo events page. Starts off, you know, cool enough. Happy Mario Day with Mario sitting on Yoshi's back. And then they ask you to join in on the anniversary celebrations. The first thing this game company tries to push is a sweepstakes for a trip towards their theme parks. followed by just, the multiplayer event online for Mario Kart World. And then it's the discounts that we just talked about. And oh yeah, if you have a Walmart nearby, you can play Mario Tennis and Super Mario Galaxy, but only at select locations as a limited demo. 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. local time. And if you do that, they will give you 100 platinum points. How kind of them. Then there's a reminder to stay up to date with their app because they're going to provide some wallpaper for your phone. And if you happen to be in New York, you can take a picture with Mario. Okay, that one is kind of cool. Especially because there is going to be a Mario Tennis tournament there in New York as well, if you happen to pass by. So yeah, I'll give them credit for that one. Same idea with the Nintendo San Francisco store. And then it's a reminder about the movie, an advertisement for the My First Mario collection. And then rounding it off is a reminder that you can play all of the classic games on Nintendo Switch Online, as well as a weird little cosmic power-up where it's like a Go Noodle for a fun movement break at home in class. I have no idea what this is, I'll be honest. Okay, upon further review, this seems to be like one of those things where there's just some kids doing activities on the screen and the child is meant to follow along. But they also have these pages that you can print out and they're like coloring book pages, so that's part of it too. And then of course, there's the reminder that Mario and Lunchables together have like a cross-sponsorship deal going on. And then finally, another advertisement, this time for the Play Nintendo, which seems like another one of those kid classroom things. So basically, the big takeaway here is that it seems like there's a whole lot going on, but most of it is nothing. And you know how Nintendo is like having this big focus about expanding their IP beyond their games? It legitimately feels like Mario Day is a lot more focused on that angle than the actual game stuff. How about instead of all of the additional effort you're putting in over there, just make some better discounts. That's a better Mario Day, I think. Give people your Mario games for 20 bucks. That's the best advertisement you can make. Parents will fly to the store and buy those games for their kids. But I guess you'd rather have people click on a link and download a coloring book instead. It's almost like Nintendo will actively go out of their way to do any possible thing they could imagine, except for giving people a good deal on their first-party games, no matter how old they are. But I mean, obviously, if the people are buying, why would they change the way they're doing things? Fortunately, with the slowdown in hardware sales for the Switch 2 over the last 3 months, as well as the immense software struggles that they've had since the console launched, hopefully that means people are actually being a lot more picky about what they're spending money on, and maybe that could potentially lead to some more discounts in the future that are actually worth it for people to spend. Like, I'm not going to make the biggest deal about the fact that Super Mario Party Jamboree is a brand new Switch 2 edition game, and there is no way in heck a successful Nintendo would be willing to discount a game that is that new, even if it is a port from a last-gen game. But that is something notable. Nintendo of last gen that had zero struggles, especially in Western markets, never would have discounted that. Not that quickly after launch. It's not enough of a statement where you can be like, oh, Nintendo is doing terrible, they're discounting Mario Party Jamboree. But it's at the same time, it's also not nothing. Then of course you compound that with the fact that you see other retailers giving discounts on first-party games all the time. So there are clearly signs of the higher expectations that retailers had when they were ordering these games. And maybe that's why it seems like ever since the new year, everything is under shipping and selling out. But all of these sales talks, they align with what we've seen in the financials that Nintendo has come up, specifically for the software sales especially. So like I said, I don't think it's worth banging a victory drum because Mario Party Jamboree Switch 2 edition is on a discount, but I do think it's something very interesting to keep an eye on to also see how other Switch 2 editions might be discounted going forward. But anyway, that is all I have for tonight. Thank you so much for listening, and I will catch you on the next one.